Hey everybody, it's Jonathan. This is the third video about EMF, and in this video I'm going to discuss how to manage a trade when you're getting your ass kicked. So let's get going. Okay guys, so this is Jonathan. This is my third video about EMF. I made a video 1, the day that I entered EMF, the reasons that I entered EMF. Then I made a video 2, please go back and watch that, sharing how I'm managing that trade. I'm doing this case study so you can see the life of a trade, but also just to be as transparent as possible with you guys. So the first trade was done April 8th. I'm buying puts. If you go back to that video 1, the reason I wanted to get into EMF is because the options market was pricing in an implied volatility that was historically inexpensive to how much EMF moves post earnings. That was the reason for getting in the trade. If you go back to video 1, I wanted to get in the put side first and leg into a straddle or a strangle. The play was to buy the puts. Hopefully the market would come off and then I'd buy the calls. Now, unfortunately for this guy, me, that's not what happened. We got in about April 9th, and since then, end-phase energy has gone up quite a bit. It went from 35 to 45. So let's talk about this trade. Again, professional trader is all I've done, 22 years. So I want to talk through the mindset of this trade. I got in the trade because volatility was inexpensive relative to how it moves post earnings. They're going to release earnings May 5th. So we got into the trade right here. I only bought the puts because I felt with a global pandemic, the market would be selling off and drag everything with it, including EMF. I guess I was incorrect because the overall market, at the same time I got into EMF, the market's been up 300 S&P points. So the market's had a fierce rally and it's dragged everything with it, including EMF. Now, if I'm going to play Monday morning quarterback, I could say, you know what, volatility was inexpensive. If I did the straddle and bought calls and puts, I would be up a bunch of money on this trade. But I didn't. I made a speculative play to the downside, making a bet that EMF would go lower. But in doing that, I didn't protect from the upside. So now what can I do? Here's my exact position. I showed you my exact trades. EMF 46.34. Right now, I'm long. The 35s, the 32 halves, the 30s. If you go back to video 1, before I got into the trade, before I risked a cent, I decided that, you know what? I'm going to risk about 6 or 7 grand on this play. So what can we do? Well, my position's on. I have 16 days until expiration. I have earnings in 5 days. There's still a pandemic going on. The market is artificially high, in my opinion, thinking that it's going to pull back. But so far, the market is proving me wrong. The only thing that I'm going to do with end-phase energy right here is do nothing. That's it. I'm in. When I got into the trade, I was comfortable risking 6 or 7 grand. Right now, I own 35 downside puts. If I lose on all of these, which just means if EMF is above 35 within 16 days, high probability it's going to be, I'm going to lose about $6,500. That is something in my mind that I'm absolutely okay with. So how am I managing EMF? I'm leaving it. I'm going to go back and trade the rest of my portfolio. I am not going to add any more risk here. I'm absolutely not going to buy upside calls right here. I am just going to sit on this position. If I lose, I lose. That's trading. Folks will get into too much trouble trying to make something out of a shitty position. Sometimes it's okay just to say, you know what? I'm wrong. And right now, EMF is proving me wrong. And I might be wrong. I probably will be. But you know what? I got 16 days left. I have earnings left. And I also have respect for the dire situation going on around the world and think that this rally is artificial. So, that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm losing money in EMF. It does not mean that I'm losing money. I'm losing money in this one position. I'm going to wait for this to come off. Hopefully it does. By the way, right now, my mindset on EMF is I'm trying to scratch the trade. I'm no longer trying to make a whole bunch of money. So if EMP comes off right now, if EMP trades down to 35, instead of buying those calls, I'm going to de-risk. I am going to control my P&L. And then after that, I will still hold some puts going into earnings. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. I am no longer trying to hit a home run. I am just trying to get this back to zero. Okay? Let's see how it plays out. This is video 3. I encourage you to go back and watch those first 2 videos, and I will make another video as we see how this story plays out. Hopefully there's better news on the next one. My name is Jonathan Rose. I'm the owner of Masters in Trading.